Welcome back to another Toddy Walnuts collection overview video. And today I'm going to be going over my Vinegar Syndrome titles again. It's been about a year since I did a collection overview video. And the reason I'm doing another update is because I did acquire quite a few titles over the past year. And of course, tonight in a few hours is the Black Friday sale. So I'm going to give you guys an idea of some of the titles that they have available. And hopefully at the end of the video in the comments section you can suggest some titles to me, the ones I don't have. So we're going to go through, this will be a lengthy video. I'm going to go through and point out the movies that I really enjoy. Some of these I have not seen yet, so I can't speak on them, but maybe you guys can leave like a top 5 Vinegar Syndrome list in the comments section. So there's let's see, 1, 2, 3, there's 4 shelves. I'm going to go through and show you guys everything that I have. I don't have all of them. And then at the very end of the video I'm going to take the box sets into my bedroom and I'm going to go through and show you guys all the innards of the box sets. So get yourself a beverage. This will be a chill video. We'll go through each title one by one. Get a snack, kick your feet up, and let's go through. Okay, so we will be starting with shelf 1. These are in alphabetical order, and they all have plastic protective cases, and I will leave the link below in the description if you are interested in protecting your movies with these plastic cases. So just check below and you'll find that link. So the first one is called All American Murder. This is a slasher film from I believe it was the early 90s. Christopher Walken was in it. And it was a pretty fun little slasher film. It's not a great movie, but it was still a fun watch. And the second title is the Amityville, the Cursed Collection. I think there's about 4 movies in here. And like I said, I will go through the box sets at the very end of this video if you're interested in seeing those. I will go through and open up all the box sets and show you what's inside at the very end. The next one I just watched a couple of nights ago, and this is a movie I had seen before. It was called Auntie Lee's Meat Pies. It's a dark comedy about cannibalism. It's kind of a sexploitation, black comedy, cannibal type movie. Pat Morita is a sheriff in here. Michael Berryman is a dim-witted farmhand that helps the ladies. It's pretty funny. It's not a great movie, but it's fun. Next one I still have not seen yet, and I had this for a long time. It's called Battle for the Lost Planet and Mutant War. And that's a really beautiful slipcover. But I have not watched the movie yet. Here's another box set. This is the Beastmaster box set. This is the 4K. And again, I will go through this at the very end. A beautiful set. I recommend that one to anybody. Okay. Next one was called Berserker. This was a pretty good backwoods horror movie. Again, this was one I had not seen since the VHS days, and I had forgotten all about this movie. And when I popped it in, it brought back a lot of memories. It was a fun watch. I enjoyed it, Berserker. Next one is kind of a sexploitation movie called Best Friends. 70s hippie type period piece, I guess you could call it. Next one is called Beware My Brethren. This is one I have not watched yet either. This was called Beyond the Door 3. Next one here was one of the newer pickups that I grabbed. This is called Blades. It's another horror comedy about machinery and items like that that kill people at a golf course. And it's kind of a Jaws ripoff comedy style. This movie's called Blood Beat, and I did watch this one a couple of years ago when it came out, and I can't really remember much about it. It wasn't very noteworthy. I don't really recall. I'd have to pop it in and give it another watch. But it wasn't memorable to me. Here's one called Blood Games. This was a very strange movie. Kind of a revenge flick. It was a girls' softball team against a guys' softball team. And the girls get tormented and assaulted after the game, and there's some pretty gruesome kills, some revenge type kills. Here's one called Blood Hook. This one was filmed in my great state of Wisconsin back in, I think, the early 80s. Another very low budget, almost kind of a tongue-in-cheek horror movie. Bloody New Year, I think this is a really good one. I enjoyed it. I know it gets mixed reviews, but I am a big fan of slasher movies, and I like the holiday-themed slasher movies, you know, like Christmas or, of course, Halloween and Bloody New Year, Valentine's Day Massacre, stuff like that. Here's another one I have not watched yet either. This one's called Blue Vengeance. Another kind of a comedy sci-fi horror film called Bloodsuckers from Outer Space. It's almost kind of a trauma style picture. Cool cover though. This one went out of print right away. This came out a few years ago now. It's called Body Melt. Kind of a sci-fi body torture type movie. It's a splatter flick. It's pretty good. Next one, I was not really a big fan of this movie. It's called Blood Harvest. It starred Tiny Tim as the clown there. I'll probably never watch this one again. I watched it once. I think it's worthy of one watch just to see what it's about, but I would not recommend it. Next one's called Blood Theater. Another one I have not seen yet, but it's been recommended to me by viewers of the channel. It's called The Caller, starring Malcolm McDowell. Heard it's pretty intense. Here is the Cardona Collection, Volume 1. This is a box set that includes Treasure of the Amazon, Triangle, the Bermuda Mystery, and Cyclone. These are all nature type disaster films, I guess. Here's another one that I enjoyed. I think you should grab this one if you don't have it already. It's called The Cellar. Little monster flick. Here's Cemetery of Terror. And this, I believe it's a Spanish horror film, and it's in Spanish dialogue, but you can watch it with English subtitles. Next one is called The Children. I believe this is a British film. I've never really been a fan of the killer kids movies. They don't really do much for me. But some people claim that they like this one. I have not watched it yet. Here's one I really enjoy called Christmas Evil. I think this was from 1980. Killer Santa Claus movie. Killer holiday movies are pretty fun to me. And there are quite a few Christmas slasher films. I recommend that one. Next one's called In the Cold of the Night. Shannon Tweed and Tippi Hedren are in here. It's a film by Nico Mastorakis, and I think this is kind of a film noir. I haven't watched it yet. Maybe some of you guys can comment on that. This is called The Corruption of Chris Miller. This is an Italian film. It was a pretty good, I was surprised by this one. I had never heard of this before until Vinegar Syndrome released it. And the atmosphere was really creepy in this movie, and there's a lot of really cool background scenes. I believe it was filmed in Italy too, so there's a lot of hilly mountains and lush vegetation and stuff like that. And this was a pretty good movie. It surprised me. It was a pleasant surprise. The Corruption of Chris Miller. This is another one that a lot of guys were kind of thumbing down. I haven't watched it yet. It's called Count Dracula's Great Love. And this was on their site for a long time, and they ended up dropping the price on this one. I finally got it for a pretty low price, but I have not watched it yet. Next one is called Cthulhu Mansion, or Cthulhu Mansion, however you pronounce it. And I still have yet to watch this one, even though I look forward to watching this one. I just haven't popped it in yet. I have so many movies I got to watch yet. But yeah, I'm looking forward to popping that in eventually. And then Cutting Class. This is a slasher starring Brad Pitt. And there's, 5 different covers, I believe. This is one of Brad Pitt's earliest roles, if not his very earliest. I'm not sure if that was his first. But I'll just show you the different 5 covers. That's that cover. I have that cover. It's all the same movie, just a different cover. That cover. There. And one more. A pretty good movie. I liked it. I thought it was a decent watch. Next one is called Dark Room. And it's a movie I have not watched yet. This movie is called Dark Tower. I did watch this one. It was it was not great. It was almost something like you would see on the Sci-Fi Channel. What's his name is in here? Moriarty. He was also in Q the Winged Serpent. Michael Moriarty. It was a decent watch. I don't know if I'd watch it again soon. This one's called The Dead Come Home, and I don't believe I watched this one yet either. Also called The House on Tombstone Hill. I think it had like 3 or 4 different titles for this one, if I remember. Here's another trauma film. This is Deadly Daphne's Revenge. This one came out in 1981. Back in those days, back in the early 80s, the trauma movies were actually pretty good. Next one is called Deadly Games, Dial Code Santa Claus. And this one came out last year, I think, for Black Friday, if I remember. And I remember hearing some of the guys on YouTube saying that this was kind of like a Home Alone for adults, but I have yet to watch it. Maybe it'd be a good time to watch it now, being that it's almost that time of year for Christmas. And 2 more for the top shelf. We have Dear Dead Delilah. Very cool. And the last one for shelf 1 is called Death Promise, and I think this is kind of like 80s cheese action. Filthy rich landlords get away with murder. It's time they pay for it. So that is the end of shelf number 1. Just going to put this back here. I will pull out the box sets at the end, like I said, just to remind you if you want to stick around to the end and see what is inside all the box sets. But we're going to move on here now to shelf number 2. I'm going to pause for a moment, take a drink of tea, and then we'll move along. So the first title on shelf 2 is called Demonoid. I did watch this one a couple of years ago. I remember it being middle of the road. It had some pretty good practical effects in it. Kind of another creature feature type movie. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. The next one I just watched recently, it's called Devil's Story, and this was a very bizarre movie. It's hard to describe this movie. You would almost have to see it to believe it. But I do recommend it, even though it was very bizarre. The storyline was pretty whack, and it was very ultra low budget. But I have an affinity for the low budget movies. I really do. I grew up watching them, so it's a fun watch. I recommend checking it out. You got to see this at least once. You got to see it to believe it. Next one is probably one of the better covers. This is called Demon Wind. It has that lenticular. I thought this was a fun movie too. Possession / monster movie from 1984. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I thought it was pretty good. Next one is called Disconnected. And this is another movie I have not watched. It looks like it's another kind of a harassment, the killer's upstairs type movie. Or the killer's in your house. Here's one called Dolly Dearest. I put this one on probably about a year ago. I put it in and I couldn't get into it. I'll probably have to give this one another try. But I gave it like 3 tries. I had it in my player. I watched like 10-15 minutes of it, turned it off. I went back to it like a day or two later. Just couldn't get into it, but maybe it deserves a revisit. We'll see. Here's a movie called Dominique. This was about a psycho woman. It's kind of like a schizophrenic woman. This is one of my all-time favorites. I know there's a lot of guys that do not like this movie. It's called Don't Go in the Woods. Movie from the early 80s. It's a backwoods slasher movie. I'm very fond of that movie. I like it a lot, but some guys don't. This one here is a Spanish movie. I'm trying to remember what the English title is. I'm going to have to pause it here for a moment and pull this one out. This is another Spanish horror film that is in Spanish dialogue, but you can watch it with English subtitles. Give me 1 minute. Okay, so here again is the Spanish title, and here is the English title, Don't Panic. And I have not watched this one yet. I could be wrong. This may be in English, but I thought that this was a Spanish film. So let's move on. All right. Now the next one is called Double Exposure. I remember probably 10 years ago Scorpion Releasing put this out on DVD, and now Vinegar Syndrome scrubbed it up and gave it a nice Blu-ray release. I haven't checked out the Blu-ray of it yet though. Next one is called Dr. Jekyll's Dungeon of Death, and that's a title for you right there. That's the kind of title that would pull you in and want you to watch the movie. Unfortunately, though, the movie fell short for me. It was kind of a dud for a couple different reasons. The storyline was really bad, and the lighting in the film was overly dark, a little bit too dark. Now, I do appreciate a good atmosphere watching a movie, and I think in certain scenes, the dark can work wonders for the movie. But this particular movie, it just, there's a lot of details that were missed because it was so dark. I was pretty disappointed in that one because it sounds awesome. Dr. Jekyll's Dungeon of Death. Big swing and a miss for me on that one. Next one is called The 11th Commandment, and I have not watched this one yet. Let me put that on top so I don't have to keep fumbling with it. The next one's called Evil Town. I believe this one, if I remember, was a mad scientist who was trying to take over the minds of people with his injections. I think it was that guy right there. I believe he was like a mad scientist, terrorist type dude. Here's Evils of the Night. I think this was a slipcover that was available last Black Friday. I'm looking forward to seeing which 4 they put out for this Black Friday. This one was originally released without a slip. The next 2 movies are the same exact movie. They just have different covers. And this was actually a fun watch. I remember this from the VHS days. But I don't think it ever had a proper Blu-ray release. I think there was a Anchor Bay DVD that was released years ago. But Vinegar Syndrome cleaned it up. And they released it with 2 different slipcovers. It's about this guy right here was a horror fan. He loved horror movies, and he ended up recreating some of the scenes, and he was becoming the horror villain himself. Next one is called The Fear. These are, if I remember right, it was people that were made out of wood, like trees came to life in humanoid form. Kind of a sci-fi horror. Here's another kind of a B trauma comedy horror called Flesh Eating Mothers, which would be a really good companion piece to Auntie Lee's Meat Pies. You can watch that as a double feature, I guess. If you're in the mood for silly black comedies, horror comedies, you can probably back-to-back those movies. So then I have the Forgotten Gialli Volume 1, 2, and 3, and I'll go through these at the end of the video. This is Volume 1. And in this volume you get Trauma, Police Are Blundering in the Dark, and The Killer is One of 13. The Italians always had really great titles for their movies. Here's Forgotten Gialli Volume 2. You get Girl in Room 2A, My Dear Killer, and the French Sex Murders. And Volume 3, Autopsy, Murder Mansion, and Crazy Desires of a Murderer. Next one I watched not too long ago. This is a fairly new release from Vinegar Syndrome called Girls School Screamers. I will say this about the movie. It was very, very low budget, but I thought the storyline was pretty good. The first 3/4 of the movie were passable, enjoyable. The last quarter of the movie was really bad, and it brought the movie down tremendously. The movie could have been so much better with a better ending, I thought. But next one's called Grandmother's House. This one never had a Blu-ray or DVD release until Vinegar Syndrome put it out. I had a bootleg copy on DVD for many years of this movie. I happened to really enjoy this movie. I thought it was pretty cool. Creepy. A couple different movies called Grave Robbers, but they're not the same movie. This is the English movie from 1988 called Grave Robbers. And then there's a Spanish that's called Grave Robbers. I think this one came out in the early 80s. And we have Grave Secrets. That looks really cool. Almost kind of looks like a Deadite from Army of Darkness or Evil Dead. I have not seen the movie yet though, so I can't really say much else about it. Here's a movie I really enjoyed called The Hearse. It's a haunted house and haunted car type movie. It's a possession type movie. I really enjoyed it. And Trish Vanderveer was in here, and she was absolutely gorgeous. Movie from 1980. Joseph Cotten played a small role in there too, and he's always a great actor. He was always a fun guy to watch. Next one is Hell Comes to Frogtown, kind of a comedy sci-fi movie starring Roddy Piper. Fun watch. Definitely worthy of a purchase in my opinion. Here's Hellmaster. I think this kind of had this was kind of a Hellraiser type ripoff to me. It was still fun though, it was good. Here's HELLRIDERS. This is just kind of an action. It has kind of a post-apocalyptic vibe to it. Hitcher in the Dark. I don't really remember much about this one. I don't think I did watch that one yet. This one I enjoyed, although the movie itself was not great. I really liked to see old-timey Hollywood in this movie. I think this was the late 70s. It doesn't say in the back. I think this movie came out in the late 70s or maybe even mid 70s. And you see a lot of Hollywood when they were filming the movie. And something that really stood out to me in the movie was that Hollywood sign was just falling apart back then. They weren't taking very good care of it. It was just kind of like corrugated sheet metal, and it was falling off its pedestal, and it was rusty, and there's holes in it. And I mean, it's really come a long way today. It's pretty much a landmark, and they take really good care of it today, but back then they didn't, and you can see a lot of the old Hollywood back then. This movie is called The House of the Dead. I wanted to like this one. I thought the cover was fantastic, and the movie was pretty bad. This one came out in 1978. This one's called The House of Usher. Still have yet to watch it. I don't know if this is I don't think it's a remake of The Fall of the House of Usher with Vincent Price. I think this is just a whole different entity in itself, but I haven't watched it yet. Here is Ice Cream Man starring Clint Howard, and this is a good one. It's pretty funny. It's Clint Howard is a killer ice cream man, and it's a tongue-in-cheek dark comedy horror. Some pretty good gore there. You can see the head of David Naughton in an ice cream cone. And if you watch some of the bonus features, they still have that prop. Somebody owns it, and they had it in the bonus features. And it really does look like David Naughton too. I mean, they really did a great job. From 1994. Here's one called The Immortalizer, and I think this is pretty much kind of a Reanimator ripoff. It's not nearly as good. You can see that they're trying to recreate the reagent that they had in Reanimator. Next one is called Incubus, and this is one I have not watched yet. I think this is a sci-fi horror. Looks like it's extraterrestrial beings. Here's a movie I think is pretty fun. Another seasonal horror movie. Let me see if I can get that thing to... There you can see Jack Frost. That lenticular cover. This is a pretty funny movie. It's ridiculous, but it's fun. You got to be in the right frame of mind if you want to watch a silly horror movie like that. This is called Killer's Delight. I watched this one not too long ago. I thought this was pretty good. I thought the atmosphere was really good, and it's the first time I had ever seen this movie. But it almost has like a Dirty Harry feel, because there's a detective who's I guess he's on the trail of a killer, and the closer he gets to the killer, the more murders happen, and they have like a cat and mouse thing going on, and it was pretty good. I think that was made in the 70s. And then here is Killing Birds. I think this was actually Zombie 5. Although in that zombie series, you don't have to watch them in any particular order because they're each their own entity, basically. You could watch the zombie movies in any order because it's not really an official series. It's just different directors were adding their own. Okay, I'll call mine Zombie 3. I'll call mine Zombie 2. You know, I mean, Zombie and Zombie 2 were the same movie. But this movie was not too bad, actually. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's fun at the same time. It's Zombie 5, Killing Birds. So that is the end of shelf number 2. We got 2 shelves to go, and then we got some box sets to go through. So let's slide right into shelf 3 and keep moving. Keep this show on the road. The next one is called The Killing Kind. And I didn't see it yet, but I think this was a poison, like a plague movie, where animals were getting sick, and I believe that's what it was. I could be wrong about that. Here's one that I really enjoyed. It was called The Lamp. This was one of their newer releases about a month or 2 ago now. Had a lot of fun with this movie. I thought it was good. I thought the cover looks beautiful. Here's one called Last Gasp. Almost kind of looks like a Hannibal Lecter ripoff. But I can't say for sure because I, again, did not watch this one. This is kind of a, I guess this is an adult movie. I was trying to do air quotes there. It's called Let My Puppets Come, and I think this is just like all adult humor with puppetry. So this really has nothing to do with like horror or sci-fi. It's just kind of like raunchy adult humor. Next one's called Liquid Sky. There was something about this slipcover. I think it was like heat sensitive or something. If you put your fingers on the box, it would change colors, but I have it in a plastic case, so that's not going to work. But I think, you know, just from the heat of your fingers transferring to the paper, I think it would change it a different color momentarily. I could be wrong about that too. Next one is called Lucifer's Women. This was on their Black Friday sale a couple of years ago. Here's another Troma movie called Luther the Geek. And this is pretty cool. I like how they have it kind of embossed with that foil. You can see the teeth and the lettering. In the background with that red and black. That's a beautiful color scheme right there. You know, and this actually, it's not a bad movie. It's silly, but it's one of Troma's earlier movies where they were actually pretty good in the beginning before they started getting just ridiculous. Here's a Spanish nunsploitation horror film called Malabimba. Nunsploitation, sexploitation, demon type movie. Here's Malibu High, and this was, I think this was available on their last Black Friday sale because this was never released with a slipcover, so you can get it. You got the slipcover last year, so I was glad to get that to complete that. This was a fun movie. I like this one a lot, called Mausoleum. Really cool zombies and really cool set pieces for the mausoleum, and really good. Really enjoyed that one, and I also enjoyed this one as well. I know this one got a lot of hate, but I enjoyed it. Memorial Valley Massacre. It's about it's kind of a backwoods slasher. There's a wild man that's on the loose, and he's prowling a campground, killing people. This one was not too bad either. Mountaintop Motel Massacre. About an old lady, this lady here, who runs a bed and breakfast up in the mountains, and her guests come up missing. This one's called Murder Weapon and Deadly Embrace. This is a twin billing, and that slipcover came out last Black Friday. This movie was released without a slipcover at first. So you get Linnea Quigley twin billing. Here's Necromancer. Haven't watched it yet. Pretty nice cover though. This one I thought was really fun. This is called Night Beast. George Stover is in this movie. I really liked it. Very, very low budget sci-fi horror, but it's done very well. I enjoyed it. Here's another Linnea Quigley movie called Nightmare Sisters. And you have Nightmare Weekend. I don't remember if I watched this one or not. It's not ringing a bell. I don't think I did. But it has a cool slipcover. Here's Night Owl, and it is not Tobey Maguire, although it does look like him. It almost looks like Tobey Maguire, and the way that they have it, it's like that Jake Gyllenhaal movie, Night Owl, or whatever it was called. Nightcrawler, I think. But I haven't watched the movie, so I don't know what it's about. This one I really enjoyed, called Night Train to Terror. Slasher that takes place on a train, really good movie. Here's Old Dracula, starring David Niven. This is another one that was a poor seller for Vinegar Syndrome, and it was on their website for, it may still be on there. They were really trying to get rid of this. They kept dropping the price, and finally I grabbed it. Here's a slasher called Olivia. I believe this is a British horror film. Also called Prozzy, about a killer prostitute. Ed Wood's Orgy of the Dead. Still have yet to see this, although I heard it's crazy. People tell me that, when did this come out in the 60s? 1965. And you know Ed Wood, he was kind of the king of the B movies back then. And I think his movies are a lot better than some of the B movies of today, but Ed Wood never really got a lot of respect. It's Pandemonium. I think I saw this one, but I can't remember. I think this is more of a comedy also. Judge Reinhold is in it, and Paul Rubens. I think it's a comedy with some slight horror elements in it. Here's Party Line. I haven't watched this one yet. This is called The Passing. Trying to get the reflection off of there. So you guys notice that there's quite a few that I have not watched yet. So if you would like to chime in down below, because there are a lot of people who like to go through the comments section just to see if anybody, suggests any movies. If you'd like to maybe comment on any of these that I haven't seen, please feel free to do that. This is a good little series here. Penitentiary and Penitentiary 2, about jailhouse fighting. Pretty good stuff. I like that gritty feel of the 70s prison movies. 1979 and 1980, I believe. Oh, 82 was the second one. Next one's called Perfect Strangers. Haven't watched it. Here's Pets. I think this is kind of a sexploitation, women in cages type movie, revenge. Here's a movie called Pigs, about, you guessed it, killer feral pigs. Pretty gory too. There's one called Play Dead. I haven't watched this, or at least not for a while. I may have seen this years ago. I think this is a mechanical dog, if I'm not mistaken. I could be thinking of a different movie though. But the Rottweiler in this movie, I believe, it's like a robot or a cyborg type, half dog, half robot, or something like that. I might be thinking of a different movie. Next one's called Psychic Killer, and that's a beautiful slip. When that movie was first released by Vinegar Syndrome, it did not have a slip in it. It was released on one of the Black Friday sales, but that is beautiful. I love that color scheme. So good. Another cool cover called Psycho Cop Returns, although there was never a Psycho Cop 1, so this kind of leads you to believe that it's a sequel to something, but it's not. You would think that there was a Psycho Cop and now part 2 is Psycho Cop Returns, but it's a one-off. And it's kind of a Maniac Cop kind of ripoff. Here's Punk Vacation. I think I thought John Sexton was in this movie, but I can't say for sure. I really enjoyed this movie called Raw Force. It's got a little bit of everything in it. It's kind of a mixed bag of kung fu and action. You got monsters and zombies and samurai attacks and machine gun attacks, and they got a little bit of everything in there. It's very, very well done. It's one of those movies you scratch your head like, what the hell am I watching? But there's so much going on. It's a really fun watch. This is a Russian movie, I believe, called Red Mob. Let me see. Yeah, Russia. That's a Russian production from 1992. Here's one called Rest in Pieces. I thought this was pretty fun. I hadn't seen this movie since the VHS days, and Vinegar Syndrome scrubbed it up and put out a really nice edition. I just watched this one a couple of nights ago. It was suggested to me by a few of my friends here on the channel. Christopher Lambert as the lead detective in a movie called Resurrection. And they were saying that it was pretty much a Seven, kind of a Seven ripoff or a Seven clone. I thought this movie was really well done. It's about a killer who pieces together a body, and he's gonna, I guess, kind of sacrifice it for the Easter weekend. I don't want to give too much of it away. I thought I had this movie figured out, and I thought I knew who the killer was halfway through, but I was wrong. They threw me for a loop. But it was a very good movie. I'm not a Christopher Lambert fan, and I think if it would have been anybody else but him, that the movie would have been much more successful. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Christopher Lambert is a very stiff actor to me, and he just doesn't seem like the tough guy detective dude. He tries to crack jokes in the movie, and it just doesn't fit. The movie would have done better with a different cop, I think. It could have probably been a lot better. But with that said, I do give it a 7 out of 10, and I definitely recommend you guys check that out. It's a fun watch. Next one's called Rush Week. I think I saw this one not too long ago, and I can't remember. It's like a sorority house type slasher, I think. I see so many movies, I forget. Next one's called Satan's Blood. It's another kind of a, I think this is a Spanish horror film. And we have Satan's Slave. And the last one on this shelf is Scanner Cop. It comes with 2 movies. And again, I will show that at the very end of the movie. We'll go through the box sets. So we got one more shelf to do, and we'll do the box sets and we'll wrap it up. Okay, so let's get into the last shelf. And if you guys are still with me, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. First one here is called Secta Siniestra. Kind of a demonic possession Spanish horror film. There's one called The Severed Arm. I actually like this one. It's it was ultra low budget, but I thought the story was pretty good. And I would recommend that one to at least check it out at least one time. This one is in my player right now, so I haven't had a chance to watch it. It's called Shallow Grave. It started out pretty good, and it's about a group of, I believe there was 4 girls in a convertible, and they were traveling to Florida for a like a spring break type deal. And they happened to witness something horrific that was done by a police officer. I'm not going to give it away because I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but that's the premise of it. And so yeah, they get stalked by a mad cop. Next one's called Silent Madness. I did watch this one not too long ago as well. It was pretty good. It was not great, but it was a fun watch about a mental patient who accidentally gets released. They release the wrong guy, and he goes on a killing spree. Here is Six String Samurai. We'll go through that at the end. Put that off to the side. Here's Slaughterhouse. This is I'm not a big fan of these boxes that slide open sideways like that. It's a gimmick, but you know, the box is loose and sloppy, and if you put it in your shelf like this, it's always going to pull apart. But this is a good movie, though. I enjoyed it, and I just watched it again for like the 10th time recently. Mentally challenged, big, burly Buddy. His name is Buddy. He's a butcher's retarded son, and he goes crazy killing people because they want to shut down his dad's butcher place, whatever you want to call it. His farm, his butcher, where he butchers all the animals. Next one is a slasher, another British slasher called Splatter University, and I really enjoyed this one too. I'm a big slasher fan, so it's not really hard to impress me with slasher movies. This one's called Spellcaster. Have not seen it yet. Looks a little bit weird, but I wanted to grab it and give it a shot. This is a fun movie called Spookies. I think there was a couple different slipcovers for this one, but I only got one cover. Here's another trauma type movie called The Suckling. I believe, if I'm thinking of the same movie, that it is a lady kind of aborts a baby and flushes it down a sewer, and the baby grows in the sewer and becomes this this bloodthirsty freak. If I'm thinking of the same one, it may not be this movie, but there was one similar to that. I thought it was called The Suckling, but I could be wrong. This one was a pleasant surprise, and I recommended this before when I watched it. A movie from the 70s called Sudden Fury. And it's about a couple who gets stalked by a violent guy, and there's a twist in it. I don't want to give that away. This one's called Sugar Cookies. Have not seen it yet. This one's called Tammy and the T-Rex. Kind of a, I don't know, comedy. But Denise Richards never looked better than she did in this movie. She used to be really, really gorgeous till Charlie Sheen got a hold of her. Next one's called The Telephone Book. Haven't watched it. This one's on my to-watch pile. This was called Terminal Island. This is the 4K release. This was one of their more recent releases from a month ago. I enjoyed this one. It's called Terror. I thought this was a good little slasher film. Had never seen it before until Vinegar Syndrome put it out. I thought this one was very fun. It's called There's Nothing Out There. It's a backwoods kind of slasher movie. It kind of reminds me a lot of Friday the 13th. I thought it was a fun watch. Joe Spinell is the Undertaker. This movie was not bad. One of his last, or maybe his very last roles. This one's called Through the Fire. This was one of their more recent releases from about a month ago. I haven't watched it yet. Here is The Uninvited. Unmasked Part 25, which I didn't really care too much for this movie. It's a British movie, and they're making fun of the Friday the 13th series throughout the whole movie. I mean, it's worth a watch. It just wasn't my thing. This movie wasn't the greatest either. It was okay. It's called The Vineyard. James Hong played a good role in here, and it's about a guy who wants to live forever, and there's a way he goes about doing that, but I don't want to give it away. You watch the movie yourself and find out. Here's Wacko. I think this is kind of a mixed bag of comedy and sci-fi, and I thought this one was pretty good. It's called WHODUNIT. This was a good movie. I thought it was a fun watch. Kevin Tenney's Witch Trap. This was a good movie. Definitely worthy of a purchase. Still haven't watched Extro 3 yet, but there it is. Zombie Island Massacre. I put this one in. I tried to watch it a couple different times. It was It was pretty bad, but I didn't get through it yet, but I definitely will. Now, this next little remainder of this shelf are Blu-rays that were released without slipcovers. So some of these will get slipcovers tonight or tomorrow for Black Friday. Actually, as I'm recording this, it'll be about 3 hours when the sale goes live, as I'm recording right now, but it'll probably be live by the time you guys watch this video. But the ones that I have here do not have slips, but like I said, I hope there's going to be 4 slips in this next sale, so hopefully some of these will be taken care of now. But we have the Bees, Blood Mania, and Point of No Return. I'm sorry, Point of Terror. Wow, how did I come up with that? Then you have the Candy, Tangerine Man, and Lady Coco. This one already has a slipcover, and I have it up here. I just happen to have an extra copy. So this one won't get another slip. It already has one. All right, put that away later. I think this is a porno, Corruption. I thought this was like a film noir, kind of a crime style movie. And when I put it in, I think I think this is an adult movie. You can see Jamie Gillis right there. He's all about that porn. And this one was kind of rare. This was limited. It's called Crypt of the Living Dead and House of the Living Dead. I think this was limited to like 1,000 copies or something. Maybe they'll re-release this and then put a slipcover out. Death Machines. Death Row Game Show. Disco Godfather. Now you'll notice that a lot of these should have been put in alphabetically, but I don't put those in until they have a slipcover. That's why these are B's and C's and D's, and we already went through the whole alphabet. I know it may be a little confusing, but I don't like to put them alphabetical until they have slipcovers. Here's Rudy Ray Moore as Dolomite. Great movie, funny. Frightmare, another good movie. I enjoy it. Another good one, Graduation Day. Hellbent. Herschel Gordon Lewis, The Lost Films. You get Ecstasies of Women, Linda and Abilene, Black Love, and they all have 2K scans. This movie was a poor ripoff of Gremlins called Hobgoblins. This movie was a disappointment called Horror House on Highway 5. The cover, the name, everything sounded like it was very promising, but man, was I let down. It was a big letdown for that. The Human Tornado, some more Dolomite. This one's kind of rare. This is the Jekyll and Hyde portfolio and A Clockwork Blue. This was limited to 1,000, and it was signed or numbered 451. Madman, excellent movie. Backwoods slasher, Madman Mars, really good. This was a great movie. I really liked it, called Massage Parlor Murders. It's another kind of a Dirty Harry style movie where they have the cop is chasing a killer. This was from the 70s, I believe. 1974 maybe, or 73. Here's P.D. Wheatstraw. Here's a double billing of Prime Evil and Lurkers. Here's Runaway Nightmare. And one I recently saw, it's called Trip with the Teacher, and I thought this was pretty good. One of my friends here on the channel suggested this one a long time ago, a movie from 1974. It's about without giving anything away, it's about a teacher and a school bus full of kids going on a field trip. I believe they were going to look for fossils or something in the desert, and they get accosted by a motorcycle gang, not bicycle, but motorcycle gang, and it's kind of violent, and kind of dark, but it was a fun watch. It was a good watch. All right, so now we're gonna go through. I have also have Televised Terror. We're gonna take these in the other room, and I have Homegrown Horrors Volume 1. So we're gonna take those two along with Six String Samurai, the Forgotten Gialli series, Beastmaster, and I believe that's it. So stay tuned. For you guys, it's going to be 1 second. For me, it's going to be a couple minutes. I got to round all this stuff up and start recording. So I'll see you guys in 1 second. All right, so this is a very familiar place for you guys, I'm sure. You watch most of my videos here on this bed. So gang is all here. I grabbed a bunch of box sets that I can go through and show you guys a little more detail about. I even grabbed Slaughterhouse again just so I can kind of show you the gimmick of the box set. It just opens up side to side. I'm sure most of you have this already. This is just for the ones that maybe they're new to Vinegar Syndrome, or they just maybe never knew that this existed. But the movie just slides inside that box, so that's pretty cool. The Beastmaster set, it has kind of a, it has like a little magnetic flap, and it just opens up like a book. This little flap right here has like a magnet strip inside of it, and it just kind of slaps down and closes on the side. And inside the box, it has beautiful artwork. And again, I'm sure most of you guys have this already, or have seen unboxings of it. But you get the movie with a nice thick slipcover as well. And then you get a very thick color booklet with it. It's beautiful. Easily one of their best releases. I really like it. So that is Beastmaster. All right. I pulled out Hell Comes to Frogtown too, because this is kind of a gimmicky box where it kind of pulls off the top. It's a very thick, sturdy box, but it just pulls off the top like that. And the movie does not come with a slipcover other than the box. It just comes with this regular Amaray case, and then here's the inside of that hard shell box. It's very cool. So let me put these away really quick and we'll continue. I have a couple more to show. I just want to say one thing though about these releases here, that I'm not the biggest fan of these two packaging choices that they made. I don't really like the gimmicks like that. And this box set, although it's beautiful, it's a little bit bigger than their other releases. So it kind of sits on the shelf funny. And if you have OCD and you see that one sticks out a little bit further than the rest, it's kind of an eyesore, really. But I mean, as beautiful as this box set is, it's just a little bit big. And then these two are, I give them credit for trying something new and trying to do something that nobody else has done before, or just, you know, trying to keep it fresh for the collectors. But I just, you know, I prefer a box set like this, like these other box sets that they put out. The Forgotten Gialli, we'll go through those in a minute. Amityville. Even the Six String Samurai, it's very similar to the Beastmaster in size. It's the same size, and it has that same magnetic flap. And it has the same ribbon. And it comes in a slipcover. And then it also does have interior artwork. So, I mean, it's not bad. If they keep it one way for the box sets like that, I think it's okay. But if they keep switching different sizes, that may be a little bit cringeworthy. Six String Samurai has a really nice book as well. Some write-ups and stills and colored images, and really nice. Beautiful. So let's go through. These are in no particular order, because this is Forgotten Gialli Volume 3. But, you know, you get the nice hard outer shell. Very nice graphics on the box. And then you get the 3 movies, which look really nice. And they do have reversible covers. I don't want to make this video too long. It's already very long. Murder Mansion. There's a title for you. All right, I'm going to put that one away and we'll check out the other box sets. Okay, so what I did was I just pulled everything out, so it's going to be a lot easier to go through, so we can kind of blaze through this without killing too much time here at the end. But here is Forgotten Gialli Volume 1. Same type of outer shell, same top, and then you got the 3 movies. And I think these are really nice box sets. Got Forgotten Gialli Volume 2. They're very appealing to the eye. I think they look really good. Everything is great about these sets here. My Dear Killer, The French Sex Murders, and Girl in Room 2A. Got the Amityville box set. It's the same design. It's a little bit bigger because there's more movies in this box set. But you have the Amityville house there. It looks really cool. And you have the contents inside. You got 4 movies. Amityville Dollhouse, Amityville 1992, A New Generation, and Amityville 4, The Evil Escapes. Definitely worthy of a purchase in my opinion. We got the Homegrown Horrors Volume 1. I watched Fatal Exam, not bad. We get Beyond Dream's Door and Winter Beast, and this box set's beautiful. It really looks good. And the last one is called Televised Terror. Now these are horror movies that were broadcast on television. You got the Calendar Girl Murders, Child in the Night, and Are You in the House Alone? And then there's the box. So that will conclude my Vinegar Syndrome collection overview for the year 2021. We will revisit it again this time next year, right before Black Friday in 2022. The good Lord willing, if I'm here, if we're all here, we can watch together. If you have any suggestions, please leave those below, because there are people who watch the videos and they read the comments and they try to get more suggestions from other than myself. They like to read comments and see what other people recommend as well. And if you've seen any of the movies that I have not watched yet and you'd like to chime in, yay or nay, talk about it a little bit, say if it's worthy of, bumping it up your list a little bit or just taking it off completely. I think that's going to do it, guys. So thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of your night or day, and I'll see you guys soon.